Hello, everybody. The question we're going to answer today is what are the implications of toxic positivity in this pandemic that we're still going through? Ilakkiya, what are your thoughts?
This is such a good question to talk about because toxic positivity has played a huge role during this pandemic in terms of what kinds of messages people were seeing and receiving. So it's the pandemic was a really stressful time. No matter where you were in the world, you had to hunker down, you had to be cautious, safe, you had to take all these precautions, you needed to worry every time you met someone, do they have COVID? Am I going to get COVID? It was really stressful for a lot of people, and a lot of lives got disrupted. People lost their daily structure. People had to go to different places. They had to quarantine. There were so many changes that were all happening at the same time. And the natural reaction most of us had to that is stress, anxiety. You're more depressed, you're more upset, you're on edge a lot, right? So a lot of negative feelings associated with the pandemic. But in the wake of that, as a way to combat all of the real genuine feelings that people were having due to a real genuine cause, was to see people posting positive messages like, it's okay, we're gonna get through this, which is not bad in itself. But think of things like, stay positive, it's coming, that it's gonna work out in the end. But it kind of forced people. Another thing, a big thing that I really wanted to highlight with this point is the idea of productivity. Basically, people were saying, now you have much more time. You don't have to travel to classes, you don't have to travel to work, you're spending more time at home. Be productive, learn a new skill, learn a new talent, start something new. And they were kind of encouraging productivity, which is kind of related to toxic positivity in terms of saying, ignore all the things that are stressing you out right now and just focus on, work, do productive things, this, that, and the other. And that in a way is dismissing the real fears that people were having about the stress and anxiety. It doesn't address it in a way. The social media outlets became a way of escaping it, surface level positive reactions to get through each day, even though people were really struggling sometimes to just get through a single day. And I know that I personally was struggling a lot during the pandemic in terms of my worry about people who weren't masking in the hallways. I was worried every time I'd go outside. Anytime I was in a big group, I was really stressed out. So when I'm spending a lot of time just sitting and thinking and feeling negative, positive things on the internet of like, you stay kind, be good, be productive, those are hard to do and kind of nearly impossible to do, given that I'm just trying to work through my negative emotions at the moment. So the implications of toxic positivity are that when people ended up spending more time on themselves when they were feeling down, instead of doing the things that toxic positivity was suggesting, like, you know, talk to friends more often, or like just things that they were suggesting to do as a solution to the pandemic. If you weren't doing them, then you felt bad about yourself. Um, there was a long-winded answer. Point being, toxic positivity made some people feel bad for feeling their negative emotions during the pandemic, which is completely valid and takes up a lot of your mental energy.
You're actually given a very, very good answer that I really have to find what I can say to this question. But uh, the thing I would say is, when the pandemic just started, right? Where people lost a lot of their jobs, and they suddenly had to just quarantine and everything, and that is not an easy thing. And then when people are being vocal about certain issues that they were having with it, which are real issues, they're like, true, sure, but like at least you're not dying. And to people who didn't lose any relatives or any family or so, and who didn't lose jobs, but whose life just got way harder with changes that we were forced to make, which were also changes we had to make because we were still in a pandemic situation, right? So and then when they talked about those changes, they were like, yeah, but at least you still have a job, and at least you have something to look forward to. And the thing is, when there's a fire in the house, it's not great to talk about how everything else looks, because if there's a fire, you do need to put put out the fire. You need to either get water or something and put out the fire. If there's no fire, of course, you shouldn't look for fire. You should. So nobody's saying you're thinking optimistically. Even during the pandemic is the wrong thing. Because especially if you're able to think positively even now, but being able to think positively naturally, then great. But if you don't want to think positive right now, you want to be real with yourself. You want to talk about real emotions that you're feeling, real problems that you're facing. Then there is a place for it, and toxic positivity is essentially saying, repress the hell out of all those things, think positively, and that is the problem with it. So, do you have anything to add? Okay.
No, that was a pretty good coverage from both of us as to how toxic positivity played a role in people's experience during the pandemic. So thanks for talking about it. And there's some other things that we can talk about with toxic positivity and other phenomenon that it's associated with or similar to, like gaslighting. So I think that's something that we should dive into in our next video.
That is actually a very interesting topic. Yeah, let's dive into it. Yeah. Check it out tomorrow.
All right, see you then.
Oh, you're still here? Well, thanks for getting to the end of the video. Hey, while you're still here, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get new updates when we post videos. Also, make sure to check out these equally exciting videos as well. Have you pressed it yet? Come on, you have 5 seconds left. 3, 2, press it now!